Yes, indeed. We all pray for blessings, the blessings from above, the blessings that come with happiness and without no sorrow, if you know what I mean. Well, we're set again to treat you to the best of conversations around the power sector as we bring you another episode of Power Solutions. I do have, first of all, my co-hosts on the show today. How are you doing, Wiebe? Good to have you. Good to see you always.
Yeah, I'm good, Collins. Good to see you. So I have a question, though. When you wait so long between saying Collins and Teke, so maybe people think NEPA went off in the studio and that it's just gone, like you're gone. So how do you time it perfectly?
So what happens is it depends on what I think in between. Sometimes I could just think about, it depends how long or what I'm thinking in between. So the time is always not, like I said, it's between 1 minute and 3 minutes. And let me tell you one thing. If I don't do it, people fight me.
Yeah.
They say, Collins, you didn't do it.
Really?
And I'm like, okay, let's let it be.
But I think you also need to get a sponsor. You need to get someone who's like the sponsor of the Collins Teke Gap or something. Anyway, but we'll talk about that.
Absolutely. Good to see you. We have a special guest today who is
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Is ready to
Right,
talk
so
to
today,
us.
So today is a very special guest, and he has a very big announcement that we'll get to in the middle of the show. Chuks Umezulora, who's the co-founder and COO of Auxano Solar Nigeria, and like Bono, like Pele, he's just known as Chuks. If you say Chuks in the solar industry, everybody knows who you mean. You just need one name. So Chuks, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me today.
You bet. So listen, Chuks, let's kick it off. If you can, you've actually been on the show before, but we have a special announcement, so we wanted to bring you back. But for the sake of the listeners, can you give us a little background about yourself and then your role at Auxano?
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so my name is Chuks Umezulora. I'm the co-founder and chief operating officer of Auxano Solar Nigeria Limited. So I had a background in industrial chemistry from Imo State University here in Nigeria. And I spent the last 13 years in the solar sector, cuts across from installation to sales to marketing, designs, and then manufacturing. So that's my 13 years in a nutshell. Thank you.
Wow. Amazing to know that. We should have a follow-up on that just before because I have a list of questions really I want to give you, but let me just let Wiebe take the next one and then I get into my questions. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So maybe then go into a little bit more about Auxano Solar itself and what you do as a company.
Okay, so Auxano Solar, we are a renewable energy company based in Lagos, Nigeria. So we're into solar panel assembling. We set up the first privately owned solar panel assembly line in Nigeria. So we offer solar solutions, commercial solar solutions, and we assemble solar models of all different sizes and types. So that's what Auxano Solar does in a nutshell.
Okay, and then just take it a little further. I mean, you started assembling in 2016, but what are some of the challenges that you faced as a obviously Nigeria wants to localize a lot of manufacturing and so on, but what has it been easy? Has it been challenging? I mean, is it something that anybody could just do?
Okay, yeah, so we started out here. Q4 2016 was our first test run in assembling. The first few years was very challenging, I must say. Because costs across one, unlike the trading business, where you turn in your money quickly, but for this, so the huge startup costs, and also facing challenges that most of the raw materials couldn't be found locally, so you have to import the raw materials, and then huge working capital requirements was also part of it. So access to finance was also one of the bottlenecks around starting. And then, when you're in an industry that is new, the bankers don't really understand the industry. So they place our risk higher than usual, and that also increases our borrowing cost or finance cost, So there's a lot of bottlenecks. And also another area where we faced some bottlenecks was around certifications. Because also we are pioneers, it was difficult to get those certifications, because even the people who are certified don't really understand what we're doing. So it took several years to get some of these things together.
Wow, Nigeria is endowed with a whole lot of stuff. I mean, renewable energy. Uh, uh, Looking at where you started in the renewable energy space and now, how much progress would you say that Nigeria has made, making good use of these resources? Of course, we do have abundance of various renewable energy resources, of which you would want to mention solar, wind, biomass, small hydro power, that's SHP, and a host of others. So, how much progress has Nigeria made in making good use of these resources?
Yeah, I must say that we've made progress, especially in the solar industry where I play. We've made significant progress in the last 3 years. And then like you mentioned, solar biomass and small hydro has also gained a lot of traction, in the last few years. And wind is lacking slightly behind, though even though among the pack, solar is still ahead. And I think that boils down to primarily because solar is easy, is less complicated, is more abundant, and then it's easy to scale up a solar system. You can easily set up a wind turbine and, this biomass. So, solar is typically less complicated. So I also think that's why solar has seen a lot more progress than the other renewable energy sources here in Nigeria. Yeah, we've made some progress, surely.
And certainly there's a lot still needs to be done, no doubt.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So Chuks, I know a lot of our listeners are on radio and can't see you and can't see your factory, but we have a lot also who are online on YouTube and Facebook. So could you give us like a 2-minute visual tour of the factory for those watching, and then maybe with brief narrative on what it is they're seeing so that the people listening understand. And again, to be clear, this is a factory in Lagos. The first privately owned solar panel assembly plant in Nigeria. So this is actually a big deal. So if you can show us very quickly.
Okay, so I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. So here is basically where we do does the cutting table for the back sheet and the everfilm. So that's the laser cutting machine if you want to make cut cells. Okay. So this is solar cell testing machine. So first of all, bringing in the solar cells, we test it here. Then down there you have the solar model tester. Some call it the simulator. So finished solar models are being tested here. So let me walk into the main workshop right now. Okay. So the first machine I'm going to see is the auto stringing machine. So basically what this thing does is it tabs and stringes solar cells. Okay. So once we're done with the turbine, we move up to the layer up station. So here where you couple the glass, the everfilm, the solar cells, and then the back sheet is being done here. So here, after the arrangement here and the service here, they do a form of test before they move it on. So when they are done here and everything is okay, they rack them up here, waiting for lamination. So that is basically the laminating machine. So laminating machine kind of, gets all the components glued together. Once they're laminated, you can't take it back anymore. So after the laminating, so this is what a finished laminating solar panel looks like without this frame. After the laminating, you go to the framing machine. So this framing machine, what it does is that, you have the aluminum destined frame done here. So once this machine joins it together, it can't pull off anymore. So these are some of our stocked up raw materials. Then this is what a finished solar panel looks like. So after the laminating, after the framing, they put the junction box. And when all that is done, we'll go back to where I started from, where you have the simulator. So the simulator is the final test. So the simulator tests to let you know, what are the parameters of this solar panel. So that is just a run shot of what it takes, to have a semi-automatic assembling this in line. All right, so I'll wait for your further question.
Quite impressive, if you ask me. Lagos, you are listening to Power Solutions. So there you heard the voice of our guest today. He is Chuks Umezulora. He is the co-founder and COO of Auxano Solar Energy. Well, for those who are just joining us, he just took us around and showing us like Wiebe said, it's based here in Lagos, and he showed us a factory of where all the power solutions as far as solar is concerned are being produced. They took us a tour. You could find that for those who are viewing us live on Facebook and YouTube. You could find that video to avail yourself the opportunity to know what he was showing us. Quite impressive, I must say. Now, tell us about the solar plant. In 2016, it started operation by assembling solar panels locally, right? What are
Yes.
some of the challenges and benefits?
Okay, I spoke, about some of the challenges earlier, talking about which CapEx costs, you are investing in land,
Yeah,
building, machineries, and these things don't produce profit immediately,
fa-
so it takes a while to break even. Yeah.
fantastic. I was even going to ask you about, sorry, how COVID-19 has disrupted your operations because, of course, it affected everyone. And, of course, the market in general. Let's talk about that because, I mean, it's still here. We're dealing with that, aren't we?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So COVID-19 affected, almost everybody. So, but the disruption was mostly around the area of the supply, because the factory has to shut down, everybody's had to shut down. So relied mostly on the stock that we had in the warehouse, So, but I must tell you, COVID-19 for us came with mixed blessings, because even though, yeah, there was some setback, it also increased the demand for locally assembled solar panel because it wasn't easy to bring in things from outside the country. Yeah, because you remember it first hit China. It first hit China before it came here. So when China was down, we're not totally down. So it increased demand for our solar for our local made solar panels, I must say. So but I think the market is recovering from COVID-19. Apart from maybe the FX scarcity, I think we are basically out of it, if you ask me. Yeah.
All right, so Chuks, today you have
Yes,
a big
sir.
announcement. You have a big announcement. I think Collins, you have to ask this question because you need to use your Collins Teke voice to ask the question or announce this big investment in the assembly plant.
Absolutely. So we know that Auxano Solar Nigeria will today sign a 1.5 million, wait for it, dollars investment deal with all on for the Auxano supply panel assembly plant expansion. So what that's a huge success story. All right.
Where's your shaker, man?
What
Where's your shaker?
what? I mean, you need these shakers for that. I was just like, yo, I just mentioned $1.5 million, and it sounded like I was talking about Gary and Akara. Anyways, that's huge, I must say. All right, what significant change will this bring to the market? I'd like to know. I can see the big smile on your face, like yeah, Collins, you're right.
Yeah. Because this is very important to us because the manufacturing sector is complicated. I must tell you, it's not easy to attract investments. Like those working in the solar home systems and all that. A lot of people come and they don't understand what you do. They say that the risks are too high. So for us, it's massive news. Is massive endorsement of all the hard work that we've put in over the years.
Yeah.
And it's a game changer, not just for Auxano Solar, but for the whole sector. Because one of the things I'm going to tell you is, this is going to attract the right attention and this is going to bring the right investments, that the country needs, to be able to scale this market. So for us, it's massive. Because, I took you around where we are at the moment, but I can guarantee you in the next 12 months, when I show you where we're going to be as a result of this investment, you won't be able to compare the two. I can guarantee you that.
We're going to hold you by your words, and I trust for sure that the next time we speak, we'll see that expansion and improvement. This is a lot. It's a big. We should be talking after the show, just saying. But hey, Wiebe.
Yeah, so Auxano can sponsor the Techie Moment. Yeah. Okay. So by the way, Collins, this is actually the first official announcement of this deal. So you just broke the news.
Whoa,
Yeah,
ladies
so
and
this
gentlemen,
is
you heard it
news.
first. You heard it first on Power Solutions.
Exactly.
And thanks to Wiebe for making me be the announcer of that.
Right. And and this is actually what's interesting. So I first got into this industry about 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I actually found Auxano and Chuks on Twitter because they were very active on Twitter. And I said, I want to go check this thing out.
Wow.
And, let me see for myself. Is this real? Is there really this assembly plant? And it really was. And it's been an amazing journey. And Chuks really is just a firebrand and an energizer bunny. if he says in a year they're going to be an expansion, he actually probably means like 6 weeks.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's a good thing to say, Chuks. That's a good thing to
Yeah.
say about you. And yes, I'm also expecting. I don't know why I'm just all of a sudden I just became extra excited about this. Maybe the news, maybe because we're passionate about making sure that we fix the power problems in this country, and maybe because it's Power Solutions, Wiebe. What do you think?
Yeah, no, this is huge. I mean, we can't fix the power problem if we're always importing everything we need, all the equipment we need to fix it. And if, with this investment and this growth, I mean, Chuks will prove, okay, you can do it with panels. Others will look at, can you do it with batteries? Can you do it with inverters? Let's bring it all home. Let's make it in Nigeria. Let's create jobs while we're doing everything else to fix the solar problems, or the power problems. So it's really big. It's really, really big.
That's right. Localizing the Nigerian solar supply chain is our focus. And Chuks is our guest. He's the CEO, the co-founder and COO of Auxano Solar Energy, Solar Nigeria. Of course, he's talked a lot about this. And the most important thing was the great announcement you just heard about, the $1.5 million investment deal with All for, assembly plant expansion. Now, localizing the Nigerian solar supply chain. You are leading the way, no doubt. Where you were also quoted in the Business Day, Chuks, quite positively about the CBN's local currency debt facility for funding the federal government's 5 million solar connections. What does this mean for the sector? Because, not everyone understands what that is. Let my listener understand what this means for the sector.
Yeah, that is one of the best news to have come out of Nigeria recently. I can tell you that, so the market is excited about that. Just like I, told Business Day, on paper is fantastic. I just are waiting the final details, around the disbursement requirements and all that. But I can tell you this, that already the market is excited.
Okay.
And just come to think about it, this all-on deal announcement couldn't have come at a better time, because I'm looking at it, the exciting thing about the fund is that CBN is making one of the critical requirements is that every solar project that's going to be financed by this fund will have its components produced locally. So what that means, it means massive opportunity for local manufacturing and assembling. So I'm going to tell you that announcement alone is kickstarting a lot of interest in the manufacturing sector. And already, that's for real. And already, we've had a lot of people talking to us, and that's why I'm excited about this deal. Because some people talk to us and say, choose your capacity so small. And I say, don't worry, in 6 months' time, I'll have times 10 what I have right now. And all that, and that's why I find it difficult to sleep until this deal was done. Because we need this to take the market to the next level. And one of the things I can tell you is that in the next 1 year, the solar landscape in Nigeria will be totally changed.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
That's impressive. Again, another expression for the shakers, Wiebe.
Yeah. So Chuks, also maybe you can say something to those out there who are, the businesses installing solar. There's often this belief that, okay, well, if it's made in China, it must be better than Nigeria. What do you have to say to them about that?
Yeah, the analogy to compare that is, when you compare Nigerian cables to cables made in China, so you know what that is like, so that is what Auxano Solar offers. Because one thing I tell people is this, is one of the things that makes us unique is our localized. And if I tell you my word, you know where to find me. Because the challenge most times is that, people have those foreign warranties. And most times I tell them, okay, you know what, send this back to us. So how are you going to send it back to them? Because cost of sending things out of Nigeria is higher than bringing it in. So what I tell people, I say, when you're talking with Auxano Solar, you're talking with a company who's committed. We're not quitting. We're committed to this. We keep putting our investment into this because we believe in this long term. So one, we're committed to it. And two, we're also committed to quality. I can tell you, apart from being the first privately owned solar panel assembly, I think we could actually be one of the first to get a man cap, from Standard Organization of Nigeria for solar models in Nigeria. It took us several years to get that, but we've gotten that finally. So that's also to tell you, so when you're dealing with us, you're sure of this, that SON, have certified our products on the quality, and we are bound by our words. So this quality, we're going to keep to the quality, and then with pricing also we're competitive. So if you're looking for quality solar model at competitive decent price, I think you should talk to Auxano Solar.
That's for sure. Now, I have one more question for you because our time is fast spent already. Chuks, it feels like you should stay all day, but we have to take this. By the way, you mentioned about Nigerian cable, the quality compared to that in China. That's a fact. I got to know that many years ago, that's like 5 years ago, that our cables are even more, the stronger, the more durable, they're more reliable than what comes in. So yes, if that's the same story we have with solar, it's going to be a great one. And I'm sure Nigerians listening right now would rather want to go through them. But you see, the price of solar and the cost of having solar power has always been an issue, if you must agree with me. And what does it take to convince customers, to take solar seriously now instead of focusing on generators? I better pass my neighbor or whatever type or any other alternative.
Yeah. Solar has that challenge of that huge initial CapEx cost. Okay. Because it's more or less like somebody asking you to bring out the money you're going to use to pay your energy tariff in the next 3 years and pay it all at once. So that challenge is there. Even though financing options are also beginning to come in, because our local banks are also beginning to look at different packages of financing solar solutions. But beyond that, the recent hike in energy tariff and hike in petrol price is a blessing in disguise for solar. Because what just happened is that solar just became competitive with other sources of energy. So right now, what we tell clients is this, it's not just about, do solar that is good for the environment, but we're telling them do solar because it can save you money today. So what happens is that before, if it takes you like 5 years to break even, now it's going to take shorter time. Maybe it's going to take 3 years or less to break even, depending on the kind of system you're going for. Because the cost of these alternative sources will keep rising, while that of solar will keep coming down. So, and we're almost getting to that point where there is price parity with other energy distinct sources. So I can tell you this for sure, it's easier to market solar now than it was a few months ago.
Well, thank you. Wiebe, take us home. Thank you, Chuks. You certainly will come back again. Wiebe, we have to go home. We have like 5 seconds to go home.
Okay, so in 5 seconds, Chuks, thank you so much. I know you have a busy day ahead of you, but it was first announced here by Collins Teke, 1.5 million investment.
Absolutely.
This is great news for you and for the industry and for Nigerians. The solution to power is coming now.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, that's the end of the show, guys. Go home. No, stay tuned because the news is coming up now. And this beautiful lady is by my side, ready to bring you an update. And after that, Joyce will be on with the sunny side. That's it for Power Solutions. That's it for me, Collins Teke. Thanks again. Stay blessed, stay humble, and stay happy. Bye for now.